We are Legion.
What is up, comic fam? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday night. That means this is at week's end. The spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. But before we dive into all of that, check this out. Let's give a big shout out to channel sponsor Big Time Collectibles. If you're in the market for any exclusive variants, high-end ratios, or placing those FOC orders, be sure to check out BigTimeCollectibles.com. You can also follow them on Instagram and Facebook. If you're looking to get any comics cleaned and pressed, check out Justin's Comics on Instagram for as little as $10 a book. He can take you out with some of the fastest turnaround times. You can also submit directly to CGC and CBCS for you. Be sure to use that promo code WeAreLegion and take advantage of that buy two, get one free special that's running right now. And also right now through the end of the year, he's running a special where 50% of the proceeds go to it's a 501c3 program that helps kids learn to read. So it's a literacy program that he's actually donating to through the rest of this year. So big ups to him, and welcome, Chris, the comic vet. What is up, brother? 500 is right. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. I have a question just for you, though. What's bigger news? The fact that I rolled over 500 today finally, or the fact that I'm going to be guesting on the Burke Fam channel tomorrow?
I don't know the answer to that, but I might know someone who does. Let's ask him real quick. What's the bigger news, Ryan?
You're going to have to go back to the actual news because...
So yeah, huge congratulations to the comic vet. He did pass 500 subscribers today. So if you're not subscribed to him, be sure to go over there and check it out. I can't imagine you're checking out my content without checking out Chris or Ryan's content. They are the staples of this channel show right now. We've been rocking and rolling at this for a while. We are the tripod. We got we got a lot of stuff going on together. Every Sunday, me and Chris have the collaboration video that premieres on his channel, where we both give you our top pick for the week coming up and why you should consider picking it up. And for the most part, and we ain't batting 1,000, but
no.
These are pre-release picks, and neither of us really sit there and try to tell you how to make money off comics. It's just suggested for cool art or good stories and just excitement. I think I'm still burned at myself for being excited for that long Halloween special, which I was really excited for, and it was just. It sucks so bad.
The one that really I can't believe I did it was when Nick Spencer gave Peter that new suit for when he joined the
white suit.
That I was like,
the social media suit.
I was just like, Patrick Gleason, hey man, when Peter puts on a new suit, there's a lot of secondary value, and then that was that knuckleball that just kind of went right on by, and that typical Nick Spencer goodness.
Yeah, that run is going down in the history books as the most ill-received run. Even talking to Mr. Becker, Mike Becker, who's a big collector of original art, pages, original pieces, it's blown his mind the price tag on the actual pages for Amazing Spider-Man, how they've dropped down next to nothing during the Nick Spencer run compared to what Spider-Man pages go for. This is like the lowest he's seen them, he said.
I agree. There will come a point where Patrick Gleason is going to become, I want to say, I don't want to say a household name, but he's going to become significantly more famous than what he is. Like Tyler Kirkham say. I think he's going to reach that stratosphere. So Patrick Gleason did do a lot of interiors for the ASM run over the last 25 issues here and there. So I'm figuring some of those pages may go up, but other for the fact that Gleason's name's attached to it,
That's all they have going for it. Yeah. It's and I think like people were trying to avoid the kindred stuff. Like they were just, I can't really speak for everybody. I didn't read the run even, but it just seems like people were not very enthusiastic about the kindred thing at all.
It's behind us. We got to get through Ben Riley now, which seems to be okay. We got to get through Ben Riley, and then hopefully we get Peter back.
I don't mind getting Ben Riley every now and then. I would.
Yeah, but
Born in the
have
late
his own
80s,
title.
I grew up in the 90s. I was young enough not to feel offended by the Clone Saga stuff. It was just interesting to me as a kid.
If Miles has his own title, there's no reason why Ben couldn't have a bi-monthly title. The whole Beyond Corporation and his girlfriend Janine dynamic there. I think that it's something could be carried off into his own. Even if they give him a maxi series, like 12 issues where it was every other month, stretch it out over 2 years. Give it to Kelly Thompson, someone that seems to know what to do with Ben. And thanks for everyone in the chat, by the way. I see what you're saying. Thank you very much.
I was about to go through the chat in here in a second, but I haven't been keeping up with ASM. I read that first issue, but I do know that they're rotating writers as a creative team. How is that working out so far?
They seem to be in sync with each other, so I'm presuming the editor is actually doing their job by making sure that everyone is collaborating properly. That there really is very little difference between the writing styles. The art style is obviously there's a different artist for each issue. That is kind of the part that you can see. Just at certain points, you can tell the difference between a male and a female writer. But I think those are the characters that the editor seems to be giving. Like Kelly Thompson was given a lot more of Misty Knight and I forget the other lady's name, her partner. They had a lot more story in the particular issue that Kelly Thompson did. And they were the ones that were training Ben inside the Beyond Corporation. So it's interesting. Will it grow tiresome? Yeah, if they don't go back to a normal writer, like give it to Chip, give it to Chip, give it to Kari Andrews, give it to someone interesting, and let them handle a season.
Yeah, they definitely don't need to try to do a long drawn out saga right now. They just need to do some like 2-3 issue arc stories and just get down the road a little bit. Just get away from that last one.
Ryan, you kind of got that whole Office motif going on behind you there, like you're in an episode of The Office.
The wall's closer than it normally is.
Yeah, and with the blinds, kind of like Jim right up front.
Yeah, true.
Well, let's say hey to the chat real quick. We got Ruby Guzman up in there right off the bat. Cowabunga fam. Hope you're doing good. Wheelchair Superhero 87. What is up? What's going on, Dan from Blue Hellion Comics? Mr. Chip Getler himself is up in the chat. What a week. Hope everyone had a great one. This should be a great show. Yeah, it has been a week from Thanksgiving to Black Friday sales, the Hawkeye show dropping. Of course, we got new comic books in. We had a brand new trailer for Book of Boba Fett that came out, which has me really excited. We had a brand new trailer for League of Super Pets, which surprisingly has me also really excited.
Yeah. Speaking of Jim from The Office.
Yeah. Night, baby. Love you.
You gonna give him Papa squeezes?
No. What is going on, Pokemon? She's like, I'm just gonna punch him. I'm just gonna punch him slowly.
All right.
Mars, how are you doing tonight? She's funny. I think that's pretty much it. Warlord, what is going on? We got Robert Flash 6792 up in here. They let me sneak in the back. That's what she said. Shop for Comics, what is going on? Beckerman, how's it going? Tyler, glad you can make it. Stephen C, what is up? And a big thank you to Chip, because I did get that email notification this week that there were some massive updates done to StreamYard yet again, allowing for PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that, which I'm going to start trying to mess with immediately, because I just started that new video series. It's something that I actually want to do, kind of taking a close-up look at a key comic, like a special issue. Like I did it with Blade last week, the first appearance of Blade, and actually flipped through the book, but I try to go through a little bit of the history of the character as well. But if you can, if that improves the way I can do graphics and stuff, that would be fantastic. So you're getting all those congratulations, Chris, up in the chat. Oh, only he subbed to Ryan and Finn. Chris is man. He needs a cigar. I'll shut him up.
It's not a bad idea, man.
What is up, Digger Jim? We got Mr. DJ Links in the building. Glad you can make it. So I think that's pretty much everybody. Miss So, how are you doing? If I miss you, I'm sorry. Paul Rogers is up in here. What is up? What is up? And there's the link for Tyler. Snap pics of page, load and go. Yeah, I need to figure out where on StreamYard is. Chip, we just have to have a meeting, my guy. What is up? Coming in strong, swinging for the fences. Yeah, what is up, brother? I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. All right. So, real quick, just to kind of burn through some of the lighter stuff. Did either of y'all see the new trailer for League of Super Pets, the animated kids movie featuring the animals of the DC universe? It looks like it's primarily focusing on Crypto, voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And when he first meets up with Ace the Bat Hound, voiced by Kevin Hart, it has Superman in it. This new trailer actually showed superheroes and not just the pets.
I did not. We should almost have this queued up and just let it roll in the background. Anyways, I know that the actor who played Jim from The Office, that's why I was kind of leading into that. He's doing the voice. Yeah, John Krasinski is doing the voice of Superman.
Oh, nice.
And I think he put a tweet out there just kind of, poking fun at The Rock, saying that he knew eventually they would make a buddy show together, but he always knew that he'd be, the bigger of the two within the show. So
that's fantastic.
So the fact that he's the Man of Steel, I get it. I hope one day he's Mr. Fantastic, though.
Yeah, he would be a good one. They need to hurry up, though. He's not getting any younger at this point.
Yeah.
I think that fan cast might just be a fantasy.
Yeah.
Because him and Emily Blunt both, while they could definitely
Richards was introduced not as a young man.
Oh, I don't think they need to go young. I think just for the sake of what the MCU is, trying to keep an actor around for a while, because if they catch lightning in a bottle again and can find another Robert Downey Jr., they probably don't want to lose him in 10 years.
I see, Taylor.
That's rough. But yeah, also there was a second trailer for the Book of Boba, the Disney Plus series that's going to be continuing to expand the Star Wars universe in live action, which the first little teaser trailer thing didn't get me too hyped, but this one got me super pumped. I think Boba Fett showing up in the second season of The Mandalorian was one of the best parts of it. I still think The Mandalorian is probably the best Star Wars property that's been done since the originals. And hopefully this kind of sticks with that. What would you put on that list? Rogue One's up there. It really is. But
I think Rogue One is better than the last three we got. And
for sure.
And I know everyone's going to be, oh, Chris, you're just talking about the Vader scene. No, I think the whole thing was spectacular. The fact that it was a true war movie, the fact that they tied in faith above everything, like a man willing to walk the walk with just on his faith alone. Yeah.
And the whole thing
for me, Rogue One, I thought Rogue One was
Gareth. Yeah. And the way that he did the legendary Godzilla movie, but at any point in time during Rogue One, you can pause that movie and just print the image and it's a poster. It was so beautiful. Cinematic. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. But yeah,
that was probably my favorite Star Wars movie, just because it felt so unique. Yeah. It felt like what I really like coming out of that movie, feeling like there was a whole universe out there of people that aren't just connected to Luke Skywalker or the Skywalker family and all the Jedis and stuff. Felt like there was regular people in the universe, and I thought that was really cool. So I really like that one. That's probably my favorite Star Wars movie.
And they were all disposable.
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah.
They leaned heavy into that. Yeah, Jen Erso's character was really cool. Just seeing the dynamic of the way that the Empire, they all look like they have it together and they're a well-oiled machine, but there's all that dissent amongst each other and everything. And just if anything, they're all fighting for power. Empire Strikes Back is better than your mom. I don't want to argue that. And that's pretty funny that probably most people's favorite Star Wars movie ever is the only one not directed by George Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to discredit him. He's obviously the architect of it. It's his story and everything, but it was just,
I
I
think
don't
he's
know
the
what
visionary. I think, yeah.
Irvin Kershner
Lord.
directed it. I don't know the
Right.
story behind him coming in to do it, though.
But yeah.
Don't know. So I guess we're going to get into it, Chris. Ryan, Chris already primed me. He warned me. So we're going to be talking a little Hawkeye tonight. So Disney Plus dropped the first 2 episodes of the brand new TV show Hawkeye on Disney Plus, and it's 2 episodes, and it's going to be dropping 1 episode a week every Wednesday. Moving on from here. So there was, I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this, but I'm going to let Chris just go ahead. He's excited to talk about this.
So everyone, so the tripod, as Mark likes to call us, we all know the dynamic. Mark's the heavy DC guy. I'm the heavy Marvel guy. And Ryan's just that calming breeze that comes in with his honest opinion that both of us just kind of nod our head when we're done our rant, battling back and forth the way we do. But I hated this show. She is an unlikable character. There's nothing likable about her. I don't want to see a 1%er running around pretending that she's bragging about that she's the 2-time state champion here and there and doing trick shots with some bow and arrow. And I like the fact they had cameos in there, like talk about Katniss, whatever, like all like there's like little stuff in there. The writing on the urinal for all the women that are in the crowd tonight watching or whatever. Yeah, men, right on the urinals. Just a heads up. Thanos was right.
That's what we do. After that show, you can probably go to any men's room and see that written on a urinal now.
Yeah,
it's going to be trending. What is going on, Newbies Comics?
But normally I would point out things that I did like it was beautifully shot or beautifully acted. No, man, Jeremy Renner, I don't think he's that good of an actor. I don't see why Hawkeye needs his own show. I get that they're trying to pump up a new Avengers team, so she's the new Avenger or whatever. But again, I don't think she's a likable character at all. I liked her better as Spider-Gwen in Spider-Verse. The show was dark. Like it's hard to make stuff out because they had all these interesting fight scenes, but they're all shot at dark with crummy lighting. Like I'm sorry, but Falcon Winter Soldier was superior to the first 2 episodes we have of this, and Mark thinks that's the worst thing Marvel's done yet.
No, I just thought the first episode was episode. That first episode was trash. By the end of it, it just left me wanting. But it was, dude, the fight scenes in it were awesome. Not Hawkeye. All right, so all right, me and my wife, we like to have a Wednesday night ritual of we both are off on Wednesday evening. So she gets off work, she picks up the kids, I get off work, I go straight to Zaxby's, I pick up dinner, we come home, we set up in the dining or in the living room, we would fire up Stargirl, and we would sit down as a family, we would all watch Stargirl. Kids even hyped about it, watching it and enjoying it. So we were excited to have another show to have that routine with. So that's what we did with this one. And when we watched them, we both sat there like this kind of through most of it, just because the pacing, in my opinion, was a little weird. The whole tone of the show felt a lot more TV-ish, where the other shows felt like they were shot more cinematically almost, like with a budget and style that would reflect more what you'd see on a big screen. This one definitely
campy.
This was like, it felt very CW. Like this is like their version of a CW show almost. Like, I'm not saying that.
I was going to say, it feels like the top
shot to the
version
nuts
of CW.
Well, no, like I'm not meaning that in like in a diss kind of way. Like I don't really care about the Arrowverse stuff, but I mean I love Stargirl. Superman and Lois is fantastic. You know, a budget does not determine quality at all. But this felt like it did not get the budget that the other shows possibly did. Now, granted, there aren't any.
The Winter Soldier had like a movie budget.
Yes, like
I don't know what the budget was on this, but you could tell it was not nearly as expensive.
No, all right. So I don't want to say I disliked it, but at the end of it, my wife and I both were like, that just felt weird. Like that was the same thing we said coming out of the Eternals. Like something just felt off. It didn't feel like it kind of came together very smoothly. The dynamic between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. I know it's not necessarily supposed to be there yet. Like they're not supposed to work like well-oiled machine, but it didn't even feel like these two actors worked well together necessarily, in my opinion. It just having Vera Farmiga in there just felt weird. Like she needs to
great
go back.
Actress though.
Yeah, I was about to say she needs to go back to the silver screen. I don't know why she's swarming around in this TV show.
slumming around. Okay, and slumming around with the wrong guy. And again, like another thing that cheesed me off. I'm like, did they write this show for like a 16-year-old? Like, I know I can see the comments are like, what? I'm just like, okay, so her fiance like could like do they have to make the guy such a douchebag? Like, obviously he's going to be the one that's not the bad guy. Like,
So
I get that they're
it's
tainting it
pretty
for
obviously
he's
that
the
Vera
bad guy.
Farmiga is the bad guy. Like it's very obvious she's the bad guy.
Right. And somehow he's going to get drawn into it and he's going to turn out to be like, I had no idea. But it you know, it's and the tracksuit mafia, like come on, man.
Now,
Like,
I think I heard someone talking about now. I have not read the Matt Fraction run, which I think this is heavily pulling from. I know that what's his name, David Aj. They kind of did the whole intro based on his artwork from the covers and everything, and so I don't know how much of that was directly from the book, but I think that a lot of it is like the whole tracksuit mafia, which that's fine. It just felt weird. I don't know. It just hasn't found itself yet. I'm not writing it off. I'm still excited to see the next episode to see where it goes. The fighting was a little bit
I feel like I needed a shower afterwards. It just felt like this is just cheese, old fromage.
My thought on it is like, you know, like I'm not impartial to Hawkeye. I do like him. I think he's a cool character. I've read maybe like 4 issues of the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, you know, so like I definitely see where that's pulled from stylistically, you know, but as far as like Jeremy Renner, like I think he's a good actor whenever he's in like his type of role, you know, like
the town bank in Boston. Yes.
Yeah.
He's
in a couple of episodes of Louis, and I don't really care for him in that because it's not really a character that matches his style. And I've always felt like as Hawkeye, he's just like, I don't know, he seems like almost like, I don't want to say like too good for the MCU because that's clearly not true, but you know what I mean? Like he feels like too serious of an actor for that specific role for such a, you know, he's a minor player in the overall Avengers MCU verse. And so like, you really want a character that's memorable and he's like really flat, you know? And so I've never been that partial to him as Hawkeye. So for this show, like I was really kind of hoping there would be less of him, to be honest, as they kind of pass that torch rapidly.
Yeah. I don't disagree with this either, Tyler. Like I'm not saying that this show is at the bottom of the MCU barrel whatsoever.
No.
I'm just giving.
No, I didn't think it was terrible.
To this show, like some redeemable parts would be, I don't know, something. I'm sure, but it's not horrible.
She's just not a likable character to me yet.
I don't know. I don't mind the younger casting stuff for some reason. I think, like, in all honesty, I think from watching the Stargirl stuff, it's kind of got me primed for it more than anything because there's a clear passing of a torch happening in Marvel across the board. We've said it before. They burned through 6 decades of stories and characters in 10 years. We are already up to 2016 in Marvel Comics. We're like so with Kate getting here, this is like 2006 when Young Avengers started dropping and stuff, 2004 or 5 around there. So we already got what's his name, the Patriot or whatever in the Falcon Winter Soldier series. We got Wanda's kids. They're already rolling in the next set, and they're rolling Jeremy Renner around in a wheelchair and hearing aids in this right from the get-go. So
that was one part I did like when they gave that quick like 4-second reason why he's the way he is now, like all the explosions and everything that he's dealt with over his life, and like, okay. But again, I'm sorry for everyone that enjoyed it. God bless you, but I don't think for me she wasn't a likable character. You know, like
I didn't have a problem.
Too confrontational with someone that's dating her mother and that, and then just I'm not into someone that's like bragging, like. And I thought, okay, you want the best part of the whole thing? Rogers.
No, God, that was rough. The musical.
Rogers, best part of the whole thing.
I know that a couple of people in the chats right after they watched it were excited about the LARPing scene where they were doing the live action role playing in the woods. But I thought that was like, that's where it went over the top for me. That was probably the most over the top
slow-mo trip
into camp, like unnecessary camp. Like it I don't know. It just felt weird. We went from like black market auction, like everything that's meant to be serious is kind of lighthearted. So like the people that come in and are like after are tracksuit mafia, and they're like making jokes and quips with each other, and
Like, did
then the
they
whole
have to
marketing
dumb
thing.
down the tracksuit mafia down to guys that could barely form a word? I get that they may not be English as their first language, but come on. I'll say this: when you compare these two episodes to the first two episodes of Loki, which was the last show, it's not even in the same
Yeah, Loki was really good.
universe, multiverse.
I would watch these first two episodes forever before I watch the first two episodes of WandaVision again. I would go actually watch Leave It to Beaver before I watch WandaVision's first two episodes again. And I enjoyed that show as a whole, but I don't know. I watched
Okay.
My Girl instead. Oh my gosh, he can't see without his glasses. Macaulay Culkin.
And then the bees got him.
Yeah. Okay, the musical was kind of hard to watch, but I think it was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's supposed to be cringy. The musical was incredible. I died. Well,
I
you're
thought-
also a
yeah.
big fan of High School Musical, the series. So that's all we needed to know, Tyler.
And that had to be a hard branding push.
Marvel has been slipping, but I think Spider-Man is going to be really exceptional. I agree. I think Marvel, like we've talked about it. Chris, you said it best a while back. Cap only picks up the hammer one time for the first time, and after that, it's all downhill. Like it's lightning in a bottle, and I don't know if they're going to be able to catch it again.
We'll see. Maybe Miles will be the savior. Who knows?
Yeah, I can't see myself watching any of these Disney shows again. Like, there's nothing against them, but we talked about this Friday
will come
before
out of
last
Hawkeye?
on the community hangout. Like, what actual TV shows are rewatchable? Yeah, there's plenty that are like that's good. You would recommend it, but how many shows are actually out there? And there are some for sure that you would dedicate that amount of time again to actually sit down and watch because you feel like you need to see it again to get more information or whatever from it, or just to relive the experience. There's really not too many out there. I mean, there's definitely some, but
I can remember one thing you said months and months and months ago. You said, if this show didn't exist, would anything be different in the Marvel universe? And I remember you said that about WandaVision. And then I said, well, we got Photon out of it. And then Loki happened. Well, now we have Kang the Conqueror, and we potentially have some spiraled off weird universes. What will come out of this other than Kate Bishop will become a member of the new Avengers? Will Hawkeye die? Probably not. Will anything happen to his family? Probably not. Will they still get to have Christmas together? Probably.
Yeah. Well, I think even like they're pulling their punches. Like having Photon come out of that, like just having her get her powers, you can just say in passing. With the Captain Marvel movie, she had her powers from the start. They showed it to you in flashbacks. With Falcon and Winter Soldier, nothing changed. With Loki, they just explained the whole multiversal thing, but that we didn't get Kang. We got a variant. We still have to get the actual solid introduction of Kang.
We had the original Kang, right?
We had a Kang. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right? We had a great actor play Kang. So
yeah. I hope they keep him around, man. More than I'm excited about seeing him play Kang, I'm excited for season 2 of Lovecraft Country to hit HBO Max. That first season was phenomenal. He crushed that show.
Yeah. I think he was nominated for that too. Yeah.
So we get a lot of people in the chat saying Miles might be in it. So that's something that I have heard rumors about going into it, which I myself think is a brilliant idea. Because
he's been mentioned in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see Venom in this. I'm expecting to see everything. Like you see what they've shown us so far. So they're holding all the big hitters back. They're not going to let the big reveal be that 2 other Spider-Man actors are in it that everybody knows are in it. They're going to.
Well, that's just it. They're letting this rumor run rampant about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire returning. But yeah, like let's be honest, the big stuff may be the fact that we finally get Miles. And will they introduce Miles without the backstory, the way that they gave Peter, or the way they gave us Peter in Civil War? It's just like Spider's dead. Don't talk about Uncle Ben. Don't talk about his parents. It's just Peter already being some form of Spider-Man.
I was
Miles
thinking
did the
about
same
the
thing.
Into the Spider-Verse movie about how like kid gets bit by a radioactive spider, his uncle dies. It's the same. It's the same story, except his uncle was a prowler.
Again, alternate universe, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that parallel, though. You know what I mean?
And right, in another universe, Gwen gets bit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the whole uncle died. But it was cool how everyone had a spider bite and a death.
Yeah,
that's not very. No, that's lazy writing.
That's the recipe, man. It ain't lazy writing. That's like, how many times can Jor-El die on Krypton,
so
man? Like,
you make Hulk because he saves Rick Jones and gets hit with gamma rays from a bomb. You get She-Hulk from a blood transfusion. That's not lazy writing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if
fair
we're
as
gonna
fuck.
rip apart the whole
got
idea of how
same formula,
superheroes are
but yet
created,
he can turn invisible and shoot electricity and everything. You know what I mean? Like same formula, different result. Like I don't know. They changed it up a little bit. Combining Amazing Annual 5, Spider-Man first appearance of his parents. Nice.
I didn't know.
Okay. Who's seen the new Liberty Mutual?
I hope they bring back that Liberty
Just
Mutual
in
commercial from last Christmas. Yeah.
Oh no.
Commercial
So
fun.
yeah. For these first 2 episodes on the color scale, I would give this show a solid, I don't know, yellow. Give it a
doing-
yellow.
Okay, I would give it 2 Maple Leafs out of 5. Just for the Thanos comment on the urinal.
Ryan, you hadn't even told us like your takeaway from this. You've been strangely
Yes.
quiet and chuckling tonight.
Yeah, for me, like, I mean, kind of background as to how I even watched it. I came home Thursday, and during dinner, my son was like, "Oh yeah, I came out," and so we put it on, and I was mostly engaged in the first episode, but once it moved on to the second episode, like, I didn't really pay that much attention. So it's hard for me to rate both episodes, but that first one, like, it was just like medium exciting pretty much all the way through, I didn't find anything like too great. I didn't find anything too terrible. Like, it just, I don't know, wasn't that engaging for me. So for me, it's like, I don't know, 2 out of 5 Longhorns.
That's fair.
Hook 'em.
It's watchable though, and like, I think my son liked it a little more than I did. So I'm sure there's something there for younger viewers, but it doesn't really feel like it's firing on a level that really holds my attention that well.
I'm excited to see what they do with the swordsman a little bit. That was a cool little scene when she was fencing with him. But I do have to agree with Chris. They made him extra douchey.
Cool character though, normally.
Yeah, my dad said that that's one of his favorite characters, which reminded me that Pocan Joe has also said numerous times that that's one of his favorite characters as well. So I hope that they do that character some justice, and some of his fans out there can get some honest enjoyment out of him making it to the big screen or to the little screen. Y'all want to talk some books?
Let's talk some books.
Chris, did you make it to the LCS this week?
I did.
With the Thanksgiving holiday and everything, were all your shops open?
Well, in case, for those of you that are watching, the 99.9% that are Americans, Canada celebrates Thanksgiving in October when the weather's a little bit nicer. So yes, I hit up my LCS, and my wallet is still a little cranky with me. I got a fair number of books. I have not got through all of them yet. The Death of Doctor Strange, issue 3. I read this. I will not be reading anymore. I read issue 1. This was Mark's hot pick last week on Two Cool Guys. Of the issue number 1 of what I like to call Marvel Comics meets The Wrath of Khan. Hulk number 1.
Very, very appropriate.
I picked this up for some educational purposes. I will not be picking up issue number 2. of
What was it?
Hawkeye, Kate Bishop.
Oh,
My read of the week, my hot pick of the week is still my favorite book that I read this week. DC versus Vampires, issue number 2 of 12. Tynan wrote it, but it doesn't read like a Tynan book. Detective Comics 1045.
is that the
Mayo.
foil or the B cover?
This is the B cover. That is not the local comic shop day edition. But yeah, Lieber Mayo. My God, the guy's a master.
He is.
Issue
that
14.
color green.
Speaking of masters, issue 14 of Iron Man, where we now have Cosmic Iron Man.
Yeah, the God armor.
Yeah, it's like celestial armor. Every month I always say this is the last time I'm picking up this book, so I'm just going to stop saying that. More Donny Cates. I don't want to say goodness because it's not goodness, but issue 19 of Thor. You're welcome, Chip. Amazing Spider-Man issues 78 and 79. My shop finally got 78 in, and we have a blown up Craven taking on Ben Reilly.
Nice.
I have not read either of those 2 issues. Ed Brisson's very cool Beyond the Breach issue 5. This is the final issue for this arc. It will be coming back at some point in late spring, apparently. I did pick up The Walking Dead 27 for local comic shop day. Some foil goodness.
Yeah, that's dope.
Ed Brubaker's Friday. I have not read this. I'm very looking forward to it. I do enjoy Brubaker's stuff. And Mark's favorite comic book right now, House of Slaughter.
I've got a few favorites. Firepower, House of Slaughter.
Firepower, House of Slaughter. Yeah.
What's up, Specs? What's up, Panda?
So yeah, this is a really cool cover. I believe this is Jay Lee. Very nice. That's it. That's all.
I've not heard a positive thing about that Iron Man series from Cantwell, which I read all the way through like issue 9.
It's tough.
Like Chris and I both were reading it and picking it up from the beginning, and right from the beginning, we're like, man, I'm looking forward to this picking up. And then we're like 6 issues in, and we're like, I'm looking forward to this picking up. And then got to issue 9. I'm like, dude, I actually for the first time like dropped a series like before it finished a story arc because it didn't finish a story arc by that point. Now we're into issue, what was that?
14.
We're still on one
The
story.
celestial type. Yeah.
They're still dealing with that whole mess. So it's been
14. Yeah.
like I think a lot of people just started talking about it with this issue because of this God armor thing. I can only assume this issue popped up on Key Collector because of that, which I mean, nothing wrong with that, obviously, but you know, nobody's been picking this series up and singing its praises. And I started picking it up right from the jump because they attempted to do the Immortal Hulk formula where they get a new number 1, fresh creative team. They get Ross to come over to do the covers because why not? If you can get him to do the covers, do it. You know, they had him on Hulk, have him on Cap, put him on Iron Man, and you're like covering your bases. But they took Iron Man back to basics like they did with Hulk, taking him back to the whole becoming a monster at night and just the kind of working with the original format and tweaking it to make it fresh. They did that with this Iron Man series, but it wasn't fresh feeling. He just felt like a get off my lawn type of Tony. It was weird. It's very weird. I wish it was better.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Definitely wish it was better. Stop it, Free. The Iron Man last issue slot did was dope. You got the 1 per shop.
The House of Slaughter.
Nice. Yeah, Panda just had his Sunday mail call and hangout earlier this evening, which he hasn't done in a little while. It was fun. I was able to hop on there. He showed some cool stuff off. So if y'all haven't checked that out, be sure to go back and throw that into your library to make sure you check it out. Ryan, do you have any physicals or do you have a list of the digitals?
No. I did go and pick up. They did some just like Selena comic, and it's got like 2 covers because it's in like Spanish and English, and so it's got like 2 different covers. So I went and picked those up for my wife. So that was pretty cool. So that's all I picked up physically.
Thanks, Chip.
Digitally, I read Beyond the Breach #5, Flash 776, and Superman 78 #4, which was awesome.
It was. So I'm going to go through mine. I do have some physicals, and I did manage to get out for about 25 minutes from my job to go hit up a Black Friday sale. So that haul, which there's like 40 something books, that'll upload tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So that'll be available to check out. So I'm not going to keep everybody all night going through all that, but the ones that I picked up this Tuesday were Aquaman, Green Arrow, Deep Target #2, which this is the only book I haven't gotten to read yet, but I blame free energy for that. Batman Reptilian #6, the finale to Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp's Black Label series. I picked up that local comic shop day, DC versus Vampires foil goodness there. That Detective Comics 1045 Bermejo foil goodness.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm surprised you didn't grab one of those, Chris.
They were sold out.
Oh man. Well, I'll get it to you, man. Hulk #1.
Let's get into it.
Batman Detective Comics 1045, the finale to Fear State tie-ins for this title. So the next time you see this title will be an annual preluding the Shadow of the Bat story arc that's getting us away from Tynan's Neon Fever Dream era. The Flash #776. God, this was so good. This was so good. Ryan, you remember how Batman and Superman was for the last 10 issues?
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those books. It's like Shake Me Now, turn it sideways, and you turn it sideways and flip the page, and they're falling. It was great. Superman 78 issue #4, fantastic. And some back issues that I picked up was Superman #2, the David Mack cover.
Beautiful.
Action Comics 1002, the David Mack cover. And Action Comics 1003, the David Mack cover. So these just caught my attention. I'm like, I got to have them. Gots to have them. I have plans for them that involve Chip Gettler. I haven't told Chip yet, but me and Tyler have talked about it. We've got a fantastic idea. So I showed these other books off, that Superman Up in the Sky series, where I was able to pull the first 4 issues of it. I found the other 2 this
That's
week.
a great cover.
Yes,
The hole in the wall cover. That's a great right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Love it.
ripping the robots to pieces, looking down at the little girl, Darkseid holding him up, racing the Flash, getting Lois the hell out of Dodge, the boxing match. Like, dude, this Tom King 6-issue miniseries with Andy Kubert's art on it. My God, this was good. So I read issue 1, but I read 2, 3, 4, and 5 this weekend, as well as issues 4, 5, 6 of Batman Fortnite 0 Point and Batman Fortnite Foundation, that one shot they did. So I read a ton of books that I was a little bit behind on with it and that. So I forgot I had Deep Target sitting there. Yeah, you're definitely a part of it. Me and Tyler will clue you in on it. You're much needed for it.
Let's nerd it up over the Hulk.
You want to start with that?
Yeah. Like I said, it's like Marvel meets the Wrath of Khan. Starship Hulk. Here we go, Donny Cates. Here we go.
Quick snap. So this is the intro to Donny Cates' run on the Incredible Hulk. It's following behind Al Ewing's epic run of 50 issues plus one-shots of Immortal Hulk, where at the end of that series, it's important to know that Banner found peace and solace with his multiple personalities. He was able to close off some trauma that he had, and he didn't close it off. He didn't put it in a machine and try to attack a city with it, Tynan. He actually faced his trauma, worked through it, and dealt with it, where it didn't cure him from being the Hulk, but it fixed a lot of problems he had with his personality. Well, Donny Cates said, "To hell with that," right out the gate. So what we get is psycho space pirate Bruce Banner, who has his personality, the Raging Hulk personality, chained up in a part of his mind where he can poke and prod it to get that fuel, that anger, that rage that he's using to pilot the actual Hulk body. So Banner has structured his psyche like an actual spaceship. He is taking mechanical parts from AIM, which if you go back to the Free Comic Book Day book, you see where he actually gets those parts, and he has attached them to the Hulk. So that I don't know, like this is something that I'm going to have to give it a little bit of issues to explain. Like he's attached it to the Hulk to make him a literal starship, and Bruce Banner is inside of his mind on a captain's chair, piloting this body around with a lever that he can use to control its strength even. So he's got a jetpack, he's got his onesie on, he's got some tech added to him, and he's a spaceship now. He's a goddamn spaceship.
You gotta be kidding me. Isn't that basically what you predicted?
That's now on the scale of green to red, I give this one the middle finger. So in all sincerity, real quick, so I'm thinking that the tech is actually needed. So Donny Cates is pulling from some of his other material, which that's very Donny Cates to do, that if you don't read all of his stuff, it's going to hinder you as a reader. That being said, I did read King in Black, and there was a celestial body that Iron Man jumped on and piloted a little bit. So we find out that Tony has that celestial body just in a hangar somewhere, and that's what Hulk was trying to get to, because at the core of the celestial body, there's still an energy signature that Banner is trying to walk the Hulk body through. He's trying to get it through. Keep in mind, Banner is not a physical entity right now. He's just Banner in here. It's Smart Hulk. That's all it is. We've seen Smart Hulk before. That's what we got. But they're just presenting it in a way where inside of his mind, he's actually in a spaceship. And he's made Hulk an actual starship, because he's trying to go through the chest of the Celestial into the unknown in space to get away from everybody. He doesn't want people bothering him anymore, so he's going to do that. And they try to distract us from this cockamamie BS.
That's actually the nicest artwork in the entire book, as far as I can.
Yeah, they're trying to distract us from that with a fun fight scene against Hulk and a bunch of Hulkbuster Iron Man suits.
4 of them, 5 of them.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. So, in the end, Donny Cates is presenting the Hulk now as basically as an avatar,
a starship,
right? And Banner is essentially but the context is Banner is the villain in this book, and he's cognitive of his own being within the Hulk, and he's controlling the Hulk like a puppet, i.e. an avatar, or as Donny Cates is calling it, a starship. That's why I said Marvel meets the Wrath of Khan, because Iron Man gets beat and he looks at Banner and Banner, and it's just it's au fromage, It's
now, Ryan Otley's artwork is very dynamic. He's got some fun, it is vastly different. So one thing that I'm trying not to do going into this is just taking this issue and bouncing it off of what we just came from. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No, I agree.
Not? But why not?
I'm just saying, in a sense that I think he needs to actually address and not necessarily pay respect to, but remember that this is a linear story being told. This isn't a clean slate they're starting off with.
The whole
they're referencing El Paso all through this book,
Right.
So I'm trying, he's not Al Ewing. It's not a horror comic anymore. Al Ewing specifically wrote a horror comic. It's not a horror comic anymore. It's back to an action adventure. Who knows what it is yet? It is yet to be determined. But I'm trying not to nitpick it based off of that, because I already knew anybody who follows Hulk and doesn't just follow Donny Cates already knew there's no way Donny Cates is going to write a Hulk story as good as what just happened. So in order to enjoy this Hulk story for me, I've got to keep that in mind and move my expectations to somewhere else, or try to just wipe them clean and see what he's going to deliver. I'm already not a huge Donny Cates fan. Nothing against the guy. Again, I can sing crossovers praises all day long right now, but everything else is just kind of
the last few issues.
Yeah, that's why I said right now, from 6 forward is fire. 1-6 forward. Everything between 1 and 6 was just.
Zdarsky was the best thing they have in that series.
Yeah, I don't know. That last issue. That last issue got me, my man. That 2-page spread when they started interviewing Ellie, the power stuff. Are we gonna do the powers thing now? What are you talking about? Where y'all just go talking over each other and just bombard me with questions. Turn the page. There it is.
Again, I I picked up on the Immortal Hulk probably in the early 30s, and right when maybe it was the Joe Fixit cover where he was running, and the image was of the Hulk kind of thing or whatever, and a few issues later we had that beautiful cover of the Thing and the Hulk sitting down in the cafe,
The
and
diner.
yep, and the African American lady serving them some coffee or something. And like it was around that point I hopped on, and I don't feel like I missed out on anything prior to that because the story flowed so well. I understand over those issues I got to find out more things that were relevant, but it didn't. I didn't need like a jumping on point. Like I had to go back to issue 1 and just to catch up. I probably will eventually,
People,
but this
if you never
is
read it, 125 and 50, and you can get a good understanding of what's up with the Hulk.
This is Nick Spencer level of writing.
Oh damn.
and I enjoy Donny Cates's run on Thor, especially the Black Winter stuff and the whole Thanos nightmare at the end of that, with the gauntlet hammer, or I should say the Infinity Hammer. I like that whole thing. I didn't like the Donald Blake arc that came afterwards. This one that we're going through right now, I think it's fine. I was up and down with Venom, but this is Nick Spencer kind of. This is what I had to deal with ASM, and all you Hulk fans out there, Mark, DJ, all you guys are about to find out what it's like to see your favorite character be put through the ringer with a writer that thinks that he knows everything about this character and he's a big fan of the character. And guess what? Now you got Banner in the brain of the Hulk, sitting in Captain Kirk's chair, lifting up anger levels and pointing to what anger level he wants the Hulk to go to right now. As I want to say this to all you Hulk fans, good luck. You're going to need it.
I mean, wasn't your prediction a couple months ago that this was going to be Space Pirate Hulk?
Yeah.
Flying around with the jetpack. So
he's about to wreck everything World War Hulk was. He's about to wreck everything that Al Ewing did.
What's crazy? Like again, like this is like where I'm not trying to like base its quality on what came before, but just ignoring the content that was laid out before you is dangerous for people who actually read it. Because we saw numerous times through Hulk's existence, but take all that and put it on a shelf. Just you're the new writer. Isn't it your responsibility to like reference check the run that just happened to see where you're supposed to be kind of at with the direction of this character? Like we just saw the Hulk literally just going through space as is, punching planets out of existence. We saw the Hulk in his most alpha form ever in issue 25 of Immortal Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why, like we just established that you don't need this tech. You don't need the Weapon X helmet. The fact that Banner's piloting the Hulk's body, dude. Oh, dude. And right there. Like that's not new. Right there.
Yeah, Dale Keown did it in 1992. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Peter David did it with Keown.
Peter David's done it. Like the fact that you're just doing it like now, how can I do it different? Oh, let's make him a starship. Hulk is a spaceship now. What?
And we're overlooking the fact.
Ridiculous to say.
We're also overlooking the fact that Donny Cates had Doctor Strange in here explain to the Avengers what was happening with the Hulk, but couldn't even put the words together to form a sentence. He dumbed down Doctor Strange.
Well,
one of the most intelligent human beings in the entire Marvel universe, right up there with T'Challa, right up there with Reed Richards, and he could barely put words together to tell the Avengers what was going on. Like there was a lot of that stuff. Like again, like come on, man. Welcome to Nick Spencer.
He told him, Chris, don't play it. That's Doctor Strange's words. I believe he's turned Hulk into a starship.
Yeah, no, flip to the part where Captain Marvel and Captain America are sitting there.
I'm going to tell you something. When I turn this page, you're supposed to normally be excited about a 2-page splash. I turned the page, I read that, and I said, no. But yeah, so they're all like, this is kind of where the events ended in Immortal Hulk with everybody in the tower together because they all went down to the place below all to try to retrieve Banner from there. And they got there and there wasn't a need for a big showdown with him or anything. It was already taken care of because of the events in that issue. But when he comes back, Banner just quietly leaves, like, so they're all just sat there left talking. But we did establish in that issue, Reed himself said it, like, we're talking about gamma stuff. Like, this is borderline magic, and it's not even magic. There's only 2 people on the planet that even begin to understand this stuff, and that's Banner himself and Leonard Sampson. But yeah, big shout out to Doc Sampson. But so I get that they don't understand or know it, but for Doctor Strange to not even be able to form words to explain that he's like, they've dealt with him. They could just be like, yeah, Bruce is in control again, but for some reason he's doing crazy stuff right now, and like he went and stole a bunch of tech from AIM, and we don't know what he's doing, but he's storming the bunker that Tony has that Celestial in. We need to go try to stop him. No, they're just sitting there acting stupid. He's turned him into a starship.
Yeah, some of the most powerful heroes on Earth.
Wow.
And no one's lifting a finger to help it whatsoever.
See, I agree with that. I like the sad philosophical Hulk too, but I also like Joe Fixit. Also like the Devil Hulk. Man, that's your philosophical Hulk right there. Like, that was something. There's existing Hulk personalities. There's ways that you can do different stories with them, or you can come up with your own. Like, that's the cool thing about him with this whole personality disorder that he has. But Cates isn't going any of those routes. He's taking an existing person, Banner, and just saying that he's a son of a bitch now.
Yeah, Banner should never be the villain. The one thing that they could have gave Cates, what if? They could have gave him the Hulk, 80,000 BC. The one that I said,
Chip.
This is awesome. See, he knows. Chip.
He doesn't want to see the Hulk desecrated. He'd rather go see Spider-Man.
Yeah. See, Hulk fans, you're about to realize the agony of what Nick Spencer put Spider-Man fans through.
Now, I'll be honest with you, more than the agony of reading an awkward Hulk issue, because let's face it, every character's had like awkward odd runs, but just listening to the unwarranted hype that's going to come with this book just because Donny Cates is on it. I'm just, dude, this is like my one hipster thing, is like just knowing that there's this wave of people that are going to swoop in and just scream its praises, despite if it's good or bad, just because they want that hype train. They want that next. When's the Knoll of this book going to show up? When's Banner's kid going to show up that he didn't know that he had? When is that spec book going to show up that they're going to get to own and have a piece of? Like, they feel like there's guarantees in this, in Cates' stuff. He threw some big books out there with, like, modern big books out there with Thor. He threw him out there with the Venom run. So this is his next run. So naturally, people are following over there, and they're just going to scream its praises. So that's
but
get under my skin.
Yeah.
I'm glad I missed this one. It sounds
you should read it.
absurd.
You should read it. You'll laugh the whole time, I promise.
Oh
Again,
my god.
the dumbing down of Doctor Strange was almost unforgivable.
Yeah. It was weird. It didn't feel right. Like I can get him not understanding something, but it just felt weird, him not even being able to pronounce words. But this Tom King series for Superman Up in the Sky, 6-issue series, it is available on the DCU app. This was phenomenal. Much in the style that the current Supergirl is, like format-wise, but done in a very clever way. Like, Superman is trying to find this girl that has been kidnapped from Earth. You don't know why. And, dude, he has this conversation with his dad that'll just break your heart, where in the first issue, before he's getting ready to leave, he's like, I have all these responsibilities here, Paul. And his dad's like, yes, you do. He's like, and I can't just leave it all behind, or people are going to die. Yes, they will. And I mean, are people going to be able to forgive me if I leave them behind? No, they won't. He goes, but that girl's out there all alone. Yes, she is. And you have to go get her. And it was just like, nothing matters. Just, what you have to do. You're questioning yourself why. But dude, I got goosebumps numerous times reading this. But long story short, a dirty Zeta beam was involved in the kidnapping of this little girl. So he has to put himself through the rigorous travels of a dirty Zeta beam. That's how Adam Strange gets to and from Rand. Travels light years through space in the blink of an eye. So what it causes him to do is bounce around through time and space. So every issue, you're just plugged into this odd place in time in Superman's history or new terrain, and he's having to go overcome a challenge that's not directly related to the little girl, but it's telling the story of why he has to go get her in the course of the book. It was beautifully done. And there's this conversation that was had at the end, and it about killed me, man. I don't want to say who the conversation was with because it'd be a major spoiler. And I know the book's been out, but this person asks him if you and Batman got in a fight, who would win? And his response is the Joker. And they're like, no, seriously, who would win? And he says, Batman. For real? Yes, for real. Aren't you stronger and faster? You have laser eyes. And he doesn't. Yes. So you would win. No, he would win. Do you even know what you're saying? I do. How would he win? I'd let him win. What? Why? If you knew Batman, you know it'd mean a lot to him. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yes.
Upset.
Yes.
There's just no way that would ever happen.
Like for somebody who is constantly criticized, not like by an overwhelming majority of the people that read his stuff. Because if you read Tom King stuff, it's because you enjoy that style of writing. But people who are critical of his stuff, if you haven't read this, he nails Superman like bullseye on bullseye. Like he shot multiple arrows and split each one with this book. Like he found the core of that character and wrote from there out. It was so fun. I highly recommend it.
As long as he doesn't dumb down Superman, I'm okay with it.
Dude, the complete opposite. Complete opposite.
Yeah,
like I've never seen a no quit Superman like this. Like it is insane. And on top of all that, Andy Kubert's art is just perfect for Superman. Like he's doing Batman the Detective with Tom Taylor right now, but it is perfect for Superman and these aliens, these different worlds, this cosmic fighting type stuff. My God, highly recommend that book. I just had to sing that book's praises real quick. What else you got, Ryan? What do you got for this week?
Let's talk about The Flash, man.
Let's do it. Did you get a chance to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would I bring it up if I hadn't read it?
Dude, I don't know. You wanted to hear about it?
Yeah, let's hear about it. No, it was really cool the way that they played with the format and the medium and made it, I don't know, like they made it fun to read, you know? It was
very fun.
It reminded, and the thing I didn't like about this issue though is that it kind of felt like a lot of those other earlier issues in this run where it's like, here's just a thing that's happening in the middle of like something bigger than itself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was basically just like him and Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Fate. You know, it was basically just them getting to like something really cool. Like the most exciting part of the book for me had to be the last page. So
I thought you were going to say the search and find.
Whenever it's spinning.
No, go back in the book and find these rooms and come back to the page and tap them in the correct order. Then touch the middle of the page.
Yeah. No, my favorite part was definitely that last page. I'm excited for that next issue. But yeah, it was it was a fun issue though. But it just felt like, I don't know, I'm a little more ready to be into something because it feels like this series so far has always been like, let's do this one-off issue that really doesn't amount to much.
Well, this one was a direct, I think this is like the second issue on like getting to the road of the story arc because we had the glaive show up in that last issue and we saw that it was Eclipso behind it all trying to get that glaive that kind of just fuels the rage in everybody, which he's drawing from. And this one is Dr. Fate and them trying to get ahead of Eclipso. We don't know in what capacity or anything yet, but yeah, dude, it was a blast of a read. I still think that Wally is drawn odd, like with the way his mask is drawn. Like it almost is like he has a bucket helmet on. Then I don't know how to describe it, man. It's just odd.
Yeah. There's something weird about his head shape. There was some like cool stuff in the art though. I like whenever the panels are turned and stuff, you know how they draw him like moving up the panels to the door and stuff. So
yeah,
I thought like that stuff was really cool. It was fun and creative. It was a fun read. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It was just, I don't know, it felt a little disjointed after like we've had so many issues sort of like this. And then it was like, okay, and now here's the start of like this big event. We had a great issue that really like established a lot, and then this one felt just a little more back to like, now it's fun time. I'm hoping like the next issue like gives us more about this glaive and stuff, because nothing happened with that. He was just carrying it around the whole time, used it to cut the octopus or whatever, and then like the glaive was like completely pointless in this issue other than that.
Yeah, so the end of the book, they went through this whole two-dimensional dimension. That's why this book got meta. Like, for those out there who haven't read it, there's numerous times in the book where Dr. Fate turns to you, the reader, and says, quick, turn the book 90 degrees. And when you turn it, the next page, you see the water runs out and they don't drown to death and stuff like that. So they were moving through this two-dimensional world just to try to get around and ahead of what Eclipso had going on. And when they came out the other end of it, they were in Gym World with Amethyst and standing there saying, you're too late. Eclipso's already taken our world. And then she's surrounded by
JL's daughter.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, and well done too. I really like the way that page looks. Like Detective Chip sitting there and stuff.
Yeah, it was fire. Like, I had a blast reading this. For those that didn't read the most recent Batman Superman book, Jane Young Loon, I think was the name, Yoon or something. But wrote that book, and it got very meta at the end. Like, there was a lot of playing with the comic book format and medium as a tool, and it was brilliant. And I was sad to see that book go. I picked up every issue of that run, loved every issue of that run. It was a breath of fresh air every week, and so it was nice to have this issue. I like those, but between Ambush Bug, this, that, it's happening a lot right now. A lot of fourth wall stuff happening. So as much as I enjoy that Ambush Bug stuff, we got to get past it or get the jokes to land. It's just too much
I
to be.
enjoyed the first 2 issues he's in.
Yeah,
but this last one, it was just like, okay, this is a little much. Kind of ready for him to.
It wasn't giving the story time to lay out.
Yeah, some of the visual gags were okay, but all in all, I was just tired of hearing them.
What would you recommend to read and collect from the ongoing Bat titles? There's only I don't know what you mean by Bat titles. You mean Bruce Wayne, Batman?
Only 25 of them.
Well, ongoing, I think there's Legends of the Dark Knight, which is the digital first one that comes out that's not have anything to do with canon. I guess you could just read that one if you're looking for just a one book, nothing else affects it kind of thing. Then you have Batman and Detective Comics. And out of those two, I would say jump on the next issue of both of them, because we were just finished the Tynan era. Joshua Williamson is taking over the main title. Mariko Taki is still going to be writing Detective Comics with Dan Morris, fantastic art, but they're starting a whole new thing as well. So they're not bogged down or restricted by the events going on with a mini event inside of the pages of Batman. So this is a great time to gamble on Batman being a fantastic read, because Joshua Williamson is a great writer, and he's actually a really big creative architect for DC right now. He's helping craft the Omniverse structure that's been set up at the beginning of this year. He's got the Deathstroke Inc. series, which that's not necessary really, but he's got the Robin series, which is also not necessary. But he's also, they're going to be fun, but not necessary for all that. But he's also got Justice League Incarnate coming out next week, which is the follow-up to the Infinite Frontier miniseries, which is crucial to the foundation building of this new DC Omniverse. The next huge event saga from DC, I mark my words now, are going to have started in the pages of that book. It's going to be big.
I would recommend.
But to actually answer the question, The Imposter, Nightwing, Detective Comics, in that order.
The Imposter is a miniseries. It's not an ongoing.
Yeah, I would have to say
the best Batman book on the shelf right now.
You would have to go with a mini. I think Batman the Detective was very
fire.
Good.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah. Tom Taylor's 6-issue limited series for the Detective was great. That was the final issue for that. I think comes out next week. Yeah. So Batman, Ducard, and Equilibrium all going at it in a 3-way. What is up? Oh, Bert. We got Steve up in the chat. What is up? Yeah, that was a good one. Batman the Imposter, I would have to say, is probably the best quality Batman book on the shelves right now. Hands down. But that's not going to be everybody's taste either, though. Batman the Detective feels very comic booky. Nightwing has been spectacular. I haven't read any books this week yet. Yeah, Nightwing was fantastic until the Fear State tie-ins in that book turned super sour. That's no
Gonna jump on the shark.
That's understandable. That happens. Like that's happened to Detective Comics. It's happened to Catwoman. It's happened to Nightwing. Anything that has had to be tied down because of the Fear State stuff, definitely sacrificed for it. And I think that Tom Taylor had the last laugh because when they said you have to tie in books, he said, "I got your tie-in," and he just with trash.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't get to read Detective Comics this week, but I really like the way Tamaki was just like, okay, so nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we spent a whole issue of him talking to Nakamoto through a wall. So I was like, that's pretty genius way to like not have to ruin your whole book over 2 issues, you know?
Well, he did it 2 issues in a row. The last 2 issues.
It did it this week?
He was talking to his corpse trying to revive it. Because he just electrocuted him.
The whole book? Oh my god!
For those so I get why books drop during these tie-in things. You're not allowed to move the story forward. You're literally sitting waiting on the events to transpire. But it sucks when you don't want to just not buy 2 books out of a run or tell your LCS, hey, drop that title for 2 issues and bring it back. Or I mean. It's on your pool.
As much as I love Catwoman, I haven't read this week's issue because it's a 3 tie-in one. So this is the 3rd one, and the first 2 were so bad. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to finish the Fear State thing. I'm probably just going to like wait until the next issue and start reading again because, man, they really messed up Catwoman fast.
Yeah.
Well, we do have Lonely City to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the Black Label title.
Yeah. Cliff Jang. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, that was. I kind of already touched on that. The artwork is fantastic. Dan Mora is absolutely crushing it. Dan Mora is phenomenal, and I've said it before. He's like a thin pencil Jim Lee with the way that he draws Batman. It's great. I want him to get a better colorist on here. This one's not bad, but some colorists just really make artists stand out. This one does not do a bad job, but they're kind of flatter colors. I want to see some vibrant to it. But look at that, the way he does the cape. Like Dan Mora was meant for Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a shame though because he was pretty much off the book for like 2 or 3 issues, and then he was like kind of like guest spotting again, and then these happened, and this is like 2 issues in a row that he was there. Like, why did you?
I told you not to read that book, Steve. I told you numerous times, don't waste your time reading it because it will make no sense. Like that was such an ambitious run that was perfectly crafted from issue 1 to 50. Like if you're not going to read, all you want to read is the finale, you still should read 1 and 25. And that would give you probably enough just to get the layout of the land, the potential of the future, and then the way it all actually comes to be. But I can only recommend buying those trades, Steve. I don't know if you would like it or not, but it's worth trying, man. It's definitely worth trying. It was so good. It was like they say that some books, like every time Batman has a mini event, they always say like the finale that'll change the Batman for years to come. They said it about Joker War. They said it about the finale of Fear State and the Last Batman. And they also said it about this, just like I said, it's not over till we get that Omega one-shot, which comes out next week, I think. And it says it in there is going to change the events of Batman for years to come, which might actually be more accurate because Williamson said, I'm getting him the hell out of Dodge. We have to get away from this in time and distance, so he's taking him out of Gotham. So hopefully that happens fast. I'm excited for him to get out of Gotham. Just fresh start.
Isn't that what the detective also did?
That's what I mean. Detective has to take him out of Gotham. Those 2 books are tied together. Like if he leaves Gotham permanently or for a long stint of time in one book, he has to be out of there in the other book. Which is weird when that was also one thing I noticed about Detective Comics this week. There was an editor's note that says takes place during the events of Batman 113. So we just had Batman 117 come out. So this whole thing with the mayor and everything under the city, that was all actually taking place. They're trying to find where it fits in because
okay.
editors weren't necessarily on top of it. I'll DM you later about the Hulk stuff happily. Just call me. I love to go on Hulk rants. It's a lot easier than me typing. I can't type well. So many typos will happen. What is going on, Hidden Gems? Happy to see you in here tonight. Chris, what's another one you picked up this week?
Issue 2 of 12 from Tynan's very fun read, DC versus Vampires.
I'm definitely going to get caught up on this one because I want to review it with you. Your excitement has me excited. I skipped out on it, but
love it.
I did notice that Mateen is getting the B covers. They have Batman with the vampire face now, Hal with the vampire face. So they're kind of doing the deceased format here. They got Matina to come in, do the close-up profiles of vampire versions of them. So I kind of want them now. I have all of the deceased ones, but I kind of want them.
Well, Batman is not a vampire in this story. However, the Green Lantern don't want me to spoil it? Oh, no.
No. I was answering the question
no,
without interrupting.
it's not. No, it's
It
not.
was,
if you want good Titan DC stuff, read this.
It was very
about.
It was nothing special, and there's a lot wrong with his run that just had this.
Yeah. It's nice to see Scarecrow as the architect villain for it, but it's not good.
The real villain was your own trauma.
Yeah, the villain is what I got charged to buy those books. This story is so much fun. The first issue I thought was terrific, and I thought, it's going to cool down, but I'm still going to make it my hot pick for the week. And it was just as good, if not better, than the first one. The first one ended on a big shocker where it turns out the Green Lantern is a villain, and the vampire that was traveling across North America to try to get to the Hall of Justice to let the Justice League know, hey, this is what's happening. There's a new rogue vampire that's killed our queen. It now wants to launch an attack on mankind. Blah blah blah. He's wiped out the what's the place in the swamp where all the bad guys hang out? I'm blanking.
Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom.
Are you kidding me?
See, I did that for this.
Ha ha ha.
See how I did that, folks? That's how you do it. But no, everyone in the Legion of Doom is dead except for Lex, who's basically he's taking his last few breaths, and he gives this vampire the antidote kind of thing, and yeah, it ends on a twist, and it ends on a secondary twist where this vampire who gets killed by the Green Lantern, who is a vampire who's been turned at the Hall of Justice, and kills one of the Wonder Twins as well. It turns out when the antidote that was destroyed by the Green Lantern, guess what? That vampire dropped off an antidote with this fella right here.
That dude?
With that dude. With his butler, because he's a 1%er. He dropped it off with his butler at the Batcave. So Lex knows. Lex knows
for the 1%ers tonight.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm a working class.
You
anyways, what's that?
Tastes like salt.
Yeah, as Mark sits in his mansion there. Yeah,
a mansion.
But yeah, it starts off. Basically, it starts out the same way where Green Lantern's just wiping out anything that could potentially destroy the horde of vampires that wants to wipe out the world. You see the Green Lantern literally rip the spine out of someone through the front, and I'm like, oh, this is the kind of carnage I haven't seen since Berserker #1. And it carries on where the Batman has assembled the entire Bat family together for the first time in a while in this book, which is an Elseworld story, by the way. During the day at Wayne Manor, and everyone that's in the Bat family is basically bitching and complaining that, why are we meeting during the day? Like, this is Bruce we're talking about, and Bruce starts to tell them what the truth is and what's going on. And from there, it kind of leads into, guess what? It's time to weapon up. And Bruce opens up this wall, and it's nothing but tools to kill vampires, and just the Bat take on everything that's there. And the story kind of progresses where Green Arrow now shows up, and he's approaching these 4 people that look like they're I don't know who these characters are. Mark, if you do, you're gonna have to help me out. But they look like they're superheroes or super villains.
That's Green Arrow.
I know Green Arrow. But these folks down here.
That's Blockbuster on the left, isn't it? He's in Nightwing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Pretty
can't
sure.
really tell who the other ones were.
So it turns
You got a better
so Green
picture?
Arrow. So the Green Arrow says to them, one amongst you are a vampire, and I'm here for you. And they're all looking at each other like, well, it ain't me. And then they all turn to the handsome bald fellow in the corner there. And turns out, yep, he's a vampire. Then they're
They go running.
yeah, they're tripping over themselves to get away from him. But don't worry, Green Arrow has your back. And he puts one through the head, through the eye, and the vampire disintegrates. And, Green Arrow really gives the brush off the shoulder. And I'm not kidding. He literally brushes off his shoulder and walks away. Facial hair of a champ. And the story basically continues with the Bat family talking about how they're going to get through this. Yeah. And the story finally gets back to the Hall of Justice where the superheroes are officially back on Earth, and the female of the Wonder Twins is saying that she can't feel her brother, the psychic connection that she has with her twin. And the Green Lantern is kind of just comforting her, saying, I'm sure everything's okay. I'm sure everything's okay. But again, he's the villain, and he's the one that wiped out the Wonder Twin. And like I said about the wall of tools that the Bat family is prepared to wipe out or go to war with, that's them there. And I think the artwork is by Matthew Rosenberg. And the story basically concludes in this issue, long story short, where Green Lantern summons the Flash to have a conversation. And Green Lantern creates a green chair for the Flash to sit down so they can have a talk about what's going on. And Green Lantern sits in one chair, the Flash sits in another, and lo and behold, Green Lantern realizes that the Flash is the only one potentially that could stop these vampires from actually happening and stopping the horde. So what does he do? He turns that chair into basically a fistful of claws, maybe even.
He fisted him.
Yeah. He turned the whole thing into a bunch of claws. And Green Lantern turns into his vampire form. Barry Allen sees what's really happening and tries to escape by just shaking, doing anything he can to escape the Green Lantern, vibrating. And the Green Lantern just says, Barry, please. It's not going to work. And then he rips the Flash's head off. So the big twist in this particular book is the Green Lantern's still on a killing spree. First issue, he kills that vampire that had the antidote and one of the Wonder Twins. And the big shocking reveal was, hey, the Green Lantern's a vampire. Now he just wiped out the Flash. Who's next? What's going to happen next?
The Bills game was so boring. Chris had time to really delve into the plot summary.
A W is a W.
So you're telling me the Wonder Twins have a psychic connection and that one could never get their wishes right?
I never said anything about wishes.
Well, I don't know what their powers are called, but yeah, I mean, you would think if she could just tell him, hey, like, I'm going to be this, so you should be that, he could just, like, be useful, right?
She just said that she couldn't feel him. And what I took from it was that somehow they do have a psychic link where they can feel each other being alive.
They're twinning.
They're twinning.
Maybe they're even shining. I don't know.
Danny. Brian, what else you got?
4.5 Maple Leafs out of 5.
Nice.
Wow.
Yellow, green.
Did you read Beyond the Breach?
I did not.
No.
I can go through it with you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear about it. I picked up the exclusive variant that the C-list villains came out with a cover art by Rudy Au.
Yep.
And I read that first issue. It wasn't bad. It was good. Just didn't pick up the rest of it.
I really enjoyed the because this was the finale of the arc. I still really like the series. I like the world building it was doing. I like a lot of what we saw. Like, there's a ton of potential there where you could have like this more like serious, dark kind of universe like Rick and Morty, where like she becomes like a badass warrior and they're like dimension hopping, and like coming across all this crazy stuff. Like, there's so much potential there, but this issue took the story and was kind of just like, here, let's shortcut an entire ending. And like, I don't know, it felt really the last half of this issue felt so choppy. It was crazy. It was like, oh yeah, here's like the conclusion to all these plot threads. And you're just like, okay, that was like one page. So nothing really felt paid off because it all just like kind of cheaply curved right there at the end. I think it would have benefited a lot from a 6th issue to really build into some of those endings. But it was just like, they basically like go back to dude's home and then he's like, I surrender. And then they go back and then she's at the farm in Iowa with the little kid's family. And they just like, as soon as they arrive in the town, the kid's family knows that he's there, like comes outside, like, oh, yay. And then they want her to stay and she's like, no. And so she leaves. And like, that's pretty much all the information you're given. Like, it literally skips that fast from thing to thing.
Yeah, that
was the whole issue, right?
They totally could. Yeah, he could have, because we know that there's going to be a new arc come later this late spring, early summer, because both Ed Brisson and Damian Cocchiario are going to do a different story, like not Beyond the Reach, just something completely fresh. And that's going to have 4 or 5 issues. And then they're going to return to this because it was so well received. They totally could have gave us a cliffhanger. They could have gave us a death of the kid. They could have death of the turtle. They could have left something somewhere like, what's going to happen? Or obviously they could have had the main villain retreat back, but some sort of cliffhanger ended. Nope. He tried to wrap it up with a pretty bow.
That death was so
Ryan's
cheesy.
right. They didn't have, but he wrapped it up in a span of 5 pages, and we're talking a 32-page comic book here. And for a book, the first 4 issues were really, really good. Like, let's just be honest, they were really, really good. They're not We Live good, but they're good. Like, they're good.
There's not much that's We Live good.
No, but the thing is, they try to create this weird, terrible terrain that this girl with a broken heart and this kid who lost his parents were trying to get through, and they're picking up friendly aliens along the way, along the journey. And so that part was similar, that they had to go from California to the American Midwest. Pardon me, just the Midwest. and it was really good. And it was rushed. Ryan hit the nail on the head for a mini series that was so good. He could have left it on a cliffhanger, and we would have been satisfied. Even with the villains or the bad guys retreating back to their own dimension, there could have been a sudden death or a kidnapping of the kid. Could have been something. Then would have been like, hey, he kind of rushed it, but you know what? He's leading it up to the next series, because as of right now, this book is done. That's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
Like, I mean, the thing is, like, the first 4 issues are like really cool. They remind me of like The Hobbit or something, I guess, Lord of the Rings. Like,
a journey.
It's like this very straight adventure, and you're kind of learning about the world as you move through it. They come across things and they're like, what the heck is this? And then they kind of get like some loose explanation, and then you start to get the bounty hunters showing up. It's really cool the way that it kind of like softballs like all of this beyond what you see kind of thing. And then in this issue, in the first like third of the book, they go into that. Like they go back to Homeboy, the wizard guy or whatever. Like they go back to his land, and he's confronted by like his crimes and who he is in his own realm. And you see like this beautiful background of just like the coolest world that like I want to go explore. That was really cool, And then it starts thinking back to the first and second issues where he's explaining how he went through the breach, and every time he crosses a world, it leaves a breach. And I'm like, so now you got like this kind of like Doctor Who thing almost, or like Rick and Morty, where they can start like going through different breaches, and you get to see all these like crazy imaginative worlds and stuff. Like it's all so cool. And then all of a sudden it's just like 5 pages later, every plot thread is just like tied off, and you're like, what just happened?
Right.
So like I'm excited for more. Like I hope there's another arc. I hope this issue is just like forgettable, and we get like all of that kind of stuff. Like let's go on a dimension hopping, because the Earth can never be the same, right? The world cannot be the same after that.
Way. No.
So like you're kind of in the post-apocalypse at that point, So like let's go through all these breaches. Let's start doing some exploring this like weird breach verse thing. Like there's a ton of potential there. I do hope we get more.
Yeah. Like we're not kidding. The final third of the book, the war and everything is completed. Everyone's gone back. He's right. The Earth will never be the same. There's still monsters that somewhat are alive here. There are corpses lying everywhere. And for one page, it just simply says day 3 to day 7, where they're crossing, trying to get to Idaho. That's what this whole page right here is.
Oh yeah.
They're just walking through, dealing with like taking a look at that. And then we basically have 1, 2, 3, the last 3 pages of this kid catching up with some of his family, and then a tearful goodbye, and the book is done. It says the end. That's it. It doesn't say like sad but true. Like we got a bunch of ads, and that's the end of potent. Like again, overall, this series was really, really good. Ryan's right. It should have been 6 issues, and they could have had the war could have been
like
over
all
for
the stuff
issue
back
6,
in his place.
and then they could have had a long walk getting back to Idaho from California, and just looking at what the landscape is, preparing for the next arc. Like, who's going to clean this up? Like, there's still things alive here.
Yeah, they could have even taken the time to give us like whenever they ask her to stay and she's all like, no, I got to go do this. I got to go find my sister or whatever. That could have been a thing. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to stay here because the world will like never be the same. And then like give us another montage of maybe or a time jump of like 2 weeks later or something. And she just can't sit still anymore. She has that taste for adventure now that she went through the breach, and like have her take off. And then boom, there's our like setup for the next one. But instead, they like played into everything that you would expect just to like make sure that it was like basically a 1-page wrap up of every plot thread.
I think you're the only one that read Death of Doctor Strange.
It's true.
What was your takeaway from that? When you said you don't plan on picking up anything beyond this one, just didn't.
Where is it? It's turning into a little bit of a tire fire. His Doctor Strange's estranged wife has now shown up, and she's heading up. Basically, she's heading up the what's the word I'm looking for? The autopsy on his body. Oh, sorry, or no, maybe that's Jane Foster. So, yeah, his ex-wife is sitting down with the Avengers, basically telling them like all these creatures and all these magical beings that are coming to the Earth. They're not here to battle the Earth. They're here to escape a greater evil. that's been chasing them across their worlds. And now that Doctor Strange is dead, not the fact that we don't have a Sorcerer Supreme, that level of protection is not there, as you know, Mark, and everyone's fleeing to this planet. We spoke about this before. And that's essentially the same regurgitation that happens in the first half of this book, other than the fact that Doctor Strange's corpse is being cut open. Now, with that being said...
Did they find out who killed him yet?
No, not yet.
What'd they do with the four mothers? Are they still around?
Oh, yeah. The three mothers are still here. Yep. And they basically... Doctor Strange's estranged wife is basically setting up, telling the Avengers how they're going to need to deal with this. The three mothers are basically hunting for a larger apex predator that's atop of the magical food chain, Thomavore, whose appetite can never be...
Thomavore?
Yeah, Thaumavore.
Like the game?
Yeah, no, that's Thumwar, but a Thumavore. And this creature can never be satisfied. It's always eating magic. And now that the protection of the earth is not there, the three mothers are there to gather up all the magic that they can to return it to this creature. So Doctor Strange's avatar, or former... Did we decide what we were going to call this? A little bit of his soul that's still alive.
Pocket Strange.
Pocket Strange is still floating around, trying to run the show.
Someone else reaches in your pocket.
Right. It is kind of strange when someone else reaches
Pocket
in your
Strange.
pocket. They basically...
It just sounds like Voldemort, where like he's like split himself up into small pieces and put them in all these things.
It's jumped the shark. There was so much good potential. Again, the one thing I can say about reading Doctor Strange is every issue that I seem to pick up, he's always making out with a woman, whether it's himself or his ghost or whatever.
Big congrats, man.
Doctor Strange is
Strange is getting some strange.
Strange is kind of pimp.
Look at him after the old Silverback.
And that's he. So if you look at it this way, that's Doctor Strange's estranged wife cheating on Doctor Strange with Doctor Strange.
Classic. That's almost like Loki trying to score with himself in the TV show.
Interesting.
Marvel's into some weird stuff these days.
Right. And long story short, the Pocket Strange realizes that Doctor Strange's soul is now stuck, and as long as it's stuck on Earth, then it can never leave. If it can't get to heaven or hell or wherever it is, it's going to go. There's no opportunity for a new Sorcerer Supreme to gain the title, to gain the, basically to start their reign. And as long as there's no Sorcerer Supreme, there's no protection for the planet from these other realms, and this will continue, and the three mothers then will just ravage the earth for all these people who have magic.
I don't know.
And then the tail end of this story is
Pocket Strange or Starship Hulk. Which one are you going with?
Oh man,
that's bad. That's something that we can actually ask.
Oh, I think I'd go with Pocket Strange, because if he's scoring with if he's scoring with women, like Starship Hulk is just a green enterprise.
So I'm going to have to go with Starship Hulk because I read that one and I think it's really stupid.
Yeah, but Pocket Strange does have a dog.
That's true.
Yeah. And I know you're a friend to animals. Basically, the book concludes, all seriousness, the book concludes with Doctor Strange, his assistant, and his estranged wife attacking the castle where Mordor lives, figuring that Mordor is actually the person that's inviting the three mothers to Earth. And the book kind of concludes with Doctor Strange and this tripod of magic walking into Mordor's castle, and sure enough, that's where the three mothers are waiting for this ambush.
So we got one Starship Hulk.
Okay.
since Doctor Strange had the time stone, did he always get to practice with a partner every time he wanted to try a new adult hug?
No, the book does have some cool visuals. This
Hashtag
is
adult hug.
that's the three mothers down here. The three mothers down here with the apex. What did we call them? Apex predator. I don't give a damn. Up top there, I thought it was just like a cheap something is killing the children version of MODOK.
Who's that? Who's that?
Or the
little
leader.
Man? Who's that little man in the pink boat over there?
That's one of the three mothers.
All right.
Like I said,
Little
Comic
man
Vet
in
is
the boat.
done with this book, and there's Mordor locking them all in there.
Oh
No.
gosh, Ryan, well, Chris, did you actually get another good one? You had a stack of books.
I did. That's it for what I actually had a chance to get into. I wanted to get into ASM, the 2 issues, because I missed out on the last one, or my LCS didn't receive their copies because of that whole Marvel Penguin blah 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 stuff that happened. I was going to get into 78 and 79 of ASM and see where that went. See if
God,
Ben
that's moving quick. They're already up to 79.
Yeah, to see if Ben. Well, they're coming out every week now. Find out if
Yeah,
Ben got bit by Morbius.
Detective Comics is about to do the same thing for a short
Yeah.
spurt. So I think that they're trying to line up the numbering too, because I know they're coming up on 1050, which they're making a big fanfare about. Landmark issue 1050. So I don't know if they're trying to time that out as well specifically. Ryan, what else you got?
The only other book that I read was Superman 78.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The great cover looks just like Gene Hackman,
Hackman.
the Hackman.
Hackman. So what did you think of
He's
this
in his
issue?
90s now, by the way.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. This was like the second to me. Like the first two were they felt like almost like they were trying to play into the whole like Superman 1 and 2 sort of thing, you know. And then 3 and 4 here have really like broken out and made their own thing, and it feels like the Superman 3 I wish we had got. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times a month.
With a
Yeah,
different
I like that about that last issue. Like, so we got Brainiac. You know, like how are we going to set this story apart? You know, this is basically a retelling of Brainiac from the lens of a Superman 78 universe. So you'd expect it to be pretty basic and pretty familiar with other iterations of Brainiac. You know, because in a movie you would be trying to find source material to lend from, and so you'd expect that same thing in this. So how did they make it different? When he got to the bottled city of Kandor, got shrunk down. He actually had his parents in there. We find out that they did not perish on Krypton, which is really interesting because if you had an actor like Marlon Brando come in for his star power at the time, you would expect to not really just have him and throw him away. So that was really smart to find a way to bring him back in. And I thought it was cool because they leaned into Superman's intellect in this because, again, for those that are channel members and watch that video that I put out for channel members today, it'll be available Wednesday for everybody, but it's another comic close-up of Action Comics #1 this time, though. And the way that he's branded in his very first appearance is as a superior intellect even. And they lean into that in this book, which I really enjoy when they do that because that's some of the more interesting angles of Superman. He's not a big lug that just hits stuff at all. But so it took Superman to kind of crack the code to get out of Kandor. And I thought that was cool that they took us there. It's a mini series. I didn't want to spend too much time there and make this just be like a compassion piece with him and his parents the whole time. But they are already bringing us back to Earth, back to face the Brainiac and Lex at this point. And he's coming back quick. So I'm expecting some cool knockdown, drag out fights with some of Brainiac's AI and stuff. And I'm expecting a battle of wits before anything because this is Superman 78 universe. I expect this story to be told also from a lens of limited technology when the movie was made. So how are you going to make this interesting and bring us in and get us hooked without blowing a budget or being too overboard with the limitations of the time? So I want to see a battle of wits between Lex, Brainiac, and Superman. I want it to come down to a 3-way chess match. That's what I want to see. And I think it's kind of getting us there. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I Lex is still. I mean, like they just nailed that character, man. Like for such a big swing in the movie, for them to like be able to capture that again on page is like really impressive. It still feels like what's her name, Lois Lane from the movie. I feel like Superman is a little more flat than he is in the movie, but it works well for his character, and so it gives us some of that, some of that farm boy charm. He's like always like in this issue, he's kind of thinking and he's off on his own, like trying to figure out what the next move is, and so I'm excited to see how that all plays out because it seems like it's coming down to a battle of the wits. So
yeah, dude, Lex that is a brave idiot right there. Like so in this
everybody shows up at the
end. So he had sent a signal out into space to catch Superman's attention, knowing that Brainiac would pick up on it. And Brainiac catches his signal. He's like, these idiots aren't as dumb as I thought. Let me go back and collect or kill them. So Lex is standing there, chest out, like, yeah, he's coming back. Like, dude, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? It was fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm already looking forward to the next issue. When it comes out, I'm excited for it each week. But, yeah, good stuff. Definitely good stuff.
Yeah, I'm already looking at this like, man, I don't think I would mind, like, another, like, 6-piece series that's kind of like a Superman 4, like – they could keep this universe going as long as the writing and the artwork are there. Yeah. It just feels like an original entry in that universe, like it feels so much like Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would love, because keeping with the theme of it, like, and everything, because it's heavy into like the Superman family mythos, like it's heavy into where he comes from. So a Superman Doomsday from Superman 78, that would be something. That would definitely be something right there.
That would be really cool.
That goes back to Krypton itself, that would still be keeping it on brand. I think bringing in Mongol or some of his other rogues would be a little bit too cliche, but just keeping it real tight. Brainiac goes back to Krypton. Doomsday goes back to Krypton. Just keep it all real tight. I think that would be something.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, last one that I have that I read, like I mentioned, I haven't had a chance to read Deep Target yet, but it's something, man. I don't know how there were 7 issues out of this, but I'm going to check it out for now. But it's just weird. I don't know why.
That first one was really dumb and really cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's so dumb. I had to grab number 2. I'm like, this. I can't recommend this to anybody because it's so weird. But it's Freaky Friday with Aquaman and Green Arrow. That's exactly what it is. But Batman Reptilian did wrap up, and this is Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp's finale. There was very little dialogue. It was just basically Batman. He pulled the old Johnny Depp move and jumped inside the mouth of the beast, and then he was sitting there texting with his Batmobile for it to lock onto his location, haul tail to him, and self-destruct to knock the beast out, and then calling the government to crate it out. That was all there was to it. Wasn't really nothing much to it. The artwork is what carried this book, and the last issue, the last 2 issues before this were just off the wall, crazy cool Garth Ennis stuff, which is getting weird for the sake of being weird. Like Croc is a hermaphrodite now. Like it was just weird, man. But it was something. Like you read it and you're like, you're not believing what you're reading. It's just, it was out there.
That sounds amazing and terrible at the same time.
It was both of those things. It was both of those. I'm glad it's over.
I only read the first one.
I'm definitely happy I picked it up. I'm happy to have read it, but glad it's over at the same time. I'm more excited to see Liam Sharp's final installment in the Batman Catwoman maxi series because he did those 3 issues, 7, 8, and 9. I think it's 7, 8, and 9. But he has one more issue that he's the guest artist on, and he is crushing that. That's another artist that, depending on who if he's working with anybody, if he has someone doing colors for him, it greatly changes the style of his art. But yeah, I love me some Liam Sharp. I see that's House of Slaughter 2. I did not read that. I do have a copy I'm picking up, but I'm wanting to just shelf it and then try to just read a few at a time and try to be more positive on it. Because right now, I could go full promiscuous time travel to that whole franchise.
Are we going to use are we going to turn that into a verb now?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're done with the book, that's it. No more. We're promiscuous time traveling that book.
Yeah.
All right.
We're dissolving it into somewhere else.
Been traveled.
Yeah.
That's another one that is a very
into plant food.
subpar story that's just fueled by hype. Everyone thinks that they're involved in the next Walking Dead, and you're not. You're not. Over 500,000 print run on that book. You're not. People don't realize The Walking Dead hit like it did because it was a huge, huge success with a minuscule premiere. Tiny print run. No one picked it up. Yeah, how many?
8,000.
8,000 copies. That's a retailer exclusive sometimes. Like that is
like Comic-Con exclusives have more prints than that sometimes.
That's enough to stock every store that wanted some, and then people bought them, read them, put them away, got rid of them. Some sat on shelves, went in dollar bins until it picked up a decade later. Like this is not that. This is. I'm proud of the people that are buying and getting rid of them now. I feel for the people that are sitting on them and waiting for them to take off later.
Which one? House of Slaughter?
Both of them. Something is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, that whole universe. Like those books are not going to take off later. You might see a little bit more hype when the show gets closer, just that initial pre-launch thing. But I mean, you see it happen all the time with MCU stuff from books that are decades old. They pick up a little steam, then something comes out, it doesn't hit, it does hit, and then kaput. But now you're talking about.
I can't argue because The Walking Dead was generational. We'll talk about it.
It's everything to do with it.
Right. Something is Killing the Children. Something is Killing the first print thing was not a big printing either. Mm-hmm. In fact, the subsequent issues got smaller and smaller and smaller, right to issue 5. Then all of a sudden, it started to pick up. But yeah, that's one thing. I don't want to go down this road with you, Mark.
I love this road with you.
So how was
the one? Which one? Oh, I only got through the first couple of pages.
Oh.
And then I went live with you guys. What I do want to say is Proctor Valley Road just got optioned, and I enjoyed that. That was a 5-issue limited series. I believe Grant Morrison did it. And I remember Something is Killing the Children was exploding at the time. And I said, everyone, I just read this issue number 1, Proctor Valley Road. It's really good. Pick it up. It's good.
That's Grant Morrison, right?
Yeah, Grant Morrison. Pick it up. It's going to be really, really good. I can see them. I can see this on the small screen. I can see this even on the big screen. This is really, really good. And I just saw the news that it just got picked up. So, yeah, for those of you that are like looking to spend your money, buy We Live number 1 and by Proctor Valley Road, all 5 issues.
We Live number 5 also, 1 and 5.
Yeah, they're all just.
Well, those are the keys out of it. First appearance of the characters and first appearance of the paladins.
Yeah.
Palladians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was losing my voice a little bit last night, and it's already wearing out on me now. So y'all got anything else?
That's it for me, Ryan.
That's it.
What do you got going on, Ryan?
A whole lot of nothing at the moment. So, follow me on League of Comic Geeks. I dropped that link earlier. Let's see if I still have it.
It wouldn't let me create a login for it when I tried.
It wouldn't let you?
Nope, wouldn't let me. It kept telling me my password wasn't formatted correctly, and I even hit the one that it recommends.
Should have got in early, dude. Sorry for you. I get a lot of followers on Podchaser, so go follow me there too. And other than that, that's about it right now.
Congrats on 500 subs today.
And Mark, thank you for your help. There was a handful of people that really helped. Way too many people I shouldn't even say there's a handful. There's way too many people that stepped up and spread the word as I got really close. And now I'm I think I'm like 505, so I'm very thankful for that. Again, it's very humbling to see how the community reached out this morning, and it just kind of became its own entity for a couple hours, and it was fascinating and humbling to watch. So for all of you that had a hand in it, for all of you that are subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, I will be opening the second box from jscottcampbell.com for a mystery box. Tuesday, I'll be dropping my contest entry into Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy's Grow Together initiative for his push towards 1,000. And I spotlighted 3 terrific channels I think everyone should consider subscribing to. Wednesday, I'll be going live for New Comic Book Day, just an open hangout, open invitation for everyone. If you picked up your comic books, come on and show them off. At some point in the next 7 days, I will be dropping the how-to contest entry for my 500 prize lot. There are a lot of books and stuff I'm going to be giving away, and I'm sorry, Chip. And so yeah, that'll be dropping, and then at some point thereafter, I will have the big giveaway. That's it. Oh, and next Sunday, 2 Cool Guys Hot Picks. And if you haven't checked it out, it dropped earlier today. Mark's pick was actually really, really good. I didn't think it was going to be that pick. I thought you were going to go.
No brainer.
I thought you were going to go with an annual.
There was one that I thought about.
Yeah, there was a few fire covers too.
Yeah, well, the one that I picked has a fire cover, has 2 fire covers.
Yeah, the 1 in 25 is glorious.
Yeah,
You have to see. You have to go check it out, folks.
Only assume that somebody's already called dibs on it at my LCS.
Big spec book.
Potentially, yeah. It's just a gorgeous cover, and I'm hoping it'll be a cool character because the design for the character is really cool. Like, what if that's like DC's equivalent to a Marvel character that's very similar in haircut?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. You see, you're already thinking it too. Like,
for those of you who haven't seen it, go check out 2 Cool Guys. I'm pretty proud of both our picks, and you get to see my new editing skills, where I have something over here, and Mark flicks it literally over here.
I thought that was really cool. I was waiting for it. I'm like, he has that on the wrong side. Fired.
Inside jokes of Mark for everyone that's watching. Mark loves to like randomly point at an empty space and have me edit something in there. But today I had some fun with Mark having fun with
the editing, and I just assume I direct it ahead of time.
But yeah, 2 Cool Guys, folks. Good episode this time.
Well, so also tomorrow I have my Black Friday haul that'll be posting at 7 a.m. It'll be available to everybody. If you're a channel member with early access, go to the community tab on the page and check out the comic close-up that'll release to everybody else on Wednesday, but that'll be up a few days ahead of time for everybody. And I'm really excited about these. I'm not great with editing and all that stuff, but I'm going to use this series to kind of motivate me to do better, because this is actually something I'm more passionate about. I love looking at the history of characters and comics and the creators of them and stuff. And before it gets too involved with editing and stuff, I'm trying to knock out ones like I did this week that just have a lot of content involved with them, because I don't know at what kind of time I'm going to have to commit to doing all that stuff. But I would love to have it be a lot more presentable than it is now. So I'm going to use this series and like kind of the passion I have for it to kind of fuel that learning curve that I have ahead of me. But this I'm going to try to put these out every Wednesday. This just channels like the Comic Tropes. Chris over there is what really like drove my passion for comic community on YouTube early on. And I want to be putting out content that's not just entertaining, but it's actually educational in nature. You know, it's useful. It's got actual information in it that you might not have heard before, or add to what you might already know. But I enjoy that kind of stuff. You know, it has zero to do with spec and everything to do with just the passion for these characters. So check them out.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be back this Friday coming up for the community hangout. I took this past Friday off due to work. And yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody popping in. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, that's Chris, that's Ryan, but we are Legion.